The story starts from a car driving down the country line with the main road going through the jungles. Gilsoo was busy playing a fighting game, unaware of his surroundings or whatever that was happening around him. His dad, quite annoyed by him not paying attention to anything else, told Gilsoo to get off the phone and talk with them a little bit. But Gilsoo's eyes were completely dead as he seemingly ignored his father's word and kept on playing the game. The dad did not push on any further and he just kept on driving the car. Quite annoyed by his behavior, the mother said to at least respond to his father who was asking him to do something, he should just at least answer him. The father just quietly looked at both of them through the mirror without saying anything, observing the surrounding. Knowing that there was nothing that can be done here, it just gave out a big sigh, giving up completely. But Gilsoo was not like this because he was an arrogant son. He was a broken one. He felt that his parents must be regretting having a son like him. A son who is so weak. A son who got bullied really harshly till the point they even put cigarettes in his mouth and burned his tongue. They disfigured his face with scribbles. There was not just a single guy but a bunch of guys ganging up on a single guy to bully him. Gilsoo. He felt that his parents must be regretting having a son like him who got beaten up by literally every single one in his school. Mom, trying to break the awkward silence, said that if the other kids bullied him once again in the new school as well, then he should just quit. She said that he should just quit going to school and stay at home where he will be more comfortable. But Gilsoo knew that she was lying to him. She was lying that she had any intention of having him quit. After all, she begged his father to move to another city just so that they could get into this new school. No way in hell she is going to let him quit. Gilsoo lost the game that he was playing and gave out a big sigh, realizing that he could not win, even in game, let alone real life. Holding his phone down, Gilsoo began to think to himself that if his existence was bringing nothing but pain to anyone, should he just end himself? Doing it should help everyone. So without any more pieces of conversation, the car quietly ran and reached the Six Gates High School. All the Gilsoo knew that he was coming to a new school, but he knew that his life itself was not going to change. He just wanted to run away from everything. Run away from here, away from every single thing, yo. While quietly being guided to the class, he knew that he could not run away. He wished something like a natural disaster like earthquake floods to destroy the school, or maybe something like North Korea invasion. But no way those kinds of wishes could ever come true. As Gilsoo quietly and meekly introduced himself in front of the class, telling everyone that he was not from here, that he was from Seoul. Even though he was wishing in front of everyone, there was no soul in his eyes. He wished the time could just stop, let him free out of these shackles. He wished he could just evaporate, but his trail of self-monologue of self-hate was broken by a single clap directed towards him. Gilsoo looked up to see what this clap was all about. It was the clap of the entire class. The entire class was happily clapping without a hint of malice, welcomed him to their school and wished him for a happy time. One guy, while clapping, told to his buddy behind that they finally saw a Seoul person in their class who was from city. They really had a different atmosphere. The buddy pinched him back saying that, "Don't talk like a country bumpkin." He was making them look bad. Gilsoo was completely confused by this reaction, as he never expected that he would be ever acknowledged like this and was just in shocked state. The class started, and the lunch break came, during which Gilsoo was sitting on his chair and another guy approached him calling out to him. These were two guys. One guy had bandied on his face, another guy had bleached his hair yellow, but either way their faces did not harbor the same welcome that they did before. But Gilsoo knew it very well what this meant. He knew that his life was completely filled with bullying all his entire life, and he could never escape from it. And this was the starting of it from the school. He got reminded of the time when in his previous school, a guy held him from his hair, threatening that he would kill him if he brought the kind of bread he hated. But contrary to what Gilsoo was believing, this guy quietly put his hand on Gilsoo's shoulder with a gentle demeanor. But their faces instantly changed to happiness when the first guy said that his name was Jin. He thought that Gilsoo might not be used to things around the locality, so he invited him to a visit to the convenience store together. And Jin also offered that while on their way back, they will show him around the school as well. Gilsoo agreed, but he could not understand why they were acting like this nice. While in the convenience store, he brought some drinks to drink and realized that this was the first time in his life that he had ever visited a convenience store with someone on equal grounds and not as a shuttle boy. Jean called out to him asking him that had he ever seen big eyebrows like these before, and he said that these might be the main reason his girlfriend broke up with him. Rubbing the back of his head nervously, he said that his eyebrows were charming in its own ways, and to never listen to the words of anyone who demeaned them. So both Gil-soo and Jin and the other guy started laughing while they fought about their eyebrow sizes. Taking a little break, Gil-soo began to think that what was up with this school was everyone in this school this nice. What was he seeing a dream? Being able to sit with friends talk like this, like he always used to dream about. Everyone around him looked so happy, completely devoid of any kind of bullying. Maybe he could also finally enjoy the school life that he always dreamed about. But as he was walking, his shoulder bumped with another guy who was walking in the same way. He did not pay attention, which caused him to crash into this guy. But as the evil crashed, the juice from his juice bag fell over and stained the shirt of the other guy, causing him to look at him in anger. Realized that he had messed up here. The guy started to brush off the juice of his clothes, saying that it completely messed up his shirt. But Gil-soo went into a complete panic, saying that he was ready to pay for the entire cleaning costs, and he does not need to worry about the stains anymore. But instead of getting angry, the guy put an arm on Gil-soo's shoulder, saying that it's okay and there was no need to panic. But this guy gave a really big, warm, bright smile, saying that he really appreciated the offer that Gil-soo presented to him, though. Staring into the air for a few seconds, he was completely dumbstruck by how kind he was, completely opposite of the way his previous school was, because by now he would have been completely trashed into the bin. Looking into the air, he smiled. That maybe, just maybe, he could live a normal life like a normal student in this school. The school finally got over, and Gil-soo packed up his bags to go back to his home. While getting ready to walk, he realized that the vibes here were completely different from his old school, and he was just worried for nothing at all. Everybody was nice, and he was glad that he had moved to this new location. But just then, Jin came over to him asking him about something. With the ominous look on his face, he asked if Gil-soo had any kind of plans for this day. Getting confused a little bit, he answered that he did not have any plans. So Jin answered with a smile that it was really good, which means that they could go together somewhere that he wants him to take. Agreeing to him, Jin and Gil-soo began to walk on the road alone while it was already dark. Getting a little bit tired, Gil-soo realized that they have been walking for a really long while. He wondered where they were going. A little bit worried and curious, he asked Jin that where was he taking him because he has been walking for a really long time. Not even turning his head around, he said that this was kind of practice everyone did, that everybody had to visit this place when they first joined the school. Gil-soo could not understand that what did 21 meant by he have to, as if he had no choice to back out from it. Looking towards his back, he realized that they had been walking for so long. In fact, they were literally reaching the outskirts of the city by now. Now turning around, Jin asks Gil-soo that had he had any experience with boxing or Muay Thai or any kind of fighting art in general. Looking a little bit confused but still ready to answer, Gil-soo said that he had no experience with any kind of martial arts or boxing. Giving a creepy smile, he said that if he had no experience in fighting that, then he needed to have a lot of guts and balls to witness nothing that he was about to see. Now worried, he started to scan around his surroundings when he noticed a really important detail that he had not noticed before until now. Giant's entire body was covered with scars of blades or some sort of weapon. Saying this, he got reminded of the time a lot of bullies had surrounded him with one guy threatening him with a knife. He got reminded of the time when a lot of guys used blades on him to bully. It was his old group from school. Realizing this, cold sweat began to creep from his forehead. Thinking that was he going to get attacked in this place once again like those times? Now, hesitating to go further on with Jin, Gil-soo began to backtrack his steps. Jin turned around to ask what happened. But showing a pained smile, Gil-soo said to him that he was not feeling well this day. He had to leave to tell his parents how his school went. He said that he will come over next time. But before he could even finish his sentence, Jin put a firm grip on his shoulders, stopping him from going anywhere. Now, showing a completely creepy smile, Jin said that they were already really near the venue, and it won't take long for him to go and come back. By now, Gil-soo was completely scared, but Jin tried to reassure him that he just had to come to take a real quick look and go by if he was really busy, and he was absolutely sure that Gil-soo was going to enjoy it. In the middle of the jungle, there was a warehouse with some lights coming in from inside. Jin lamented upon himself by being taken away like a helpless idiot by another bully, preparing himself that he was going to get jumped on. While walking towards the venue, he knew that all of this was a lie. Everything that he experienced till now, the kindness, the sweet smiles, all the happiness that he experienced, all of it was a lie. He was going to get bullied once again and his life will turn hell. Finally, he opened his eyes to see what the heck was in front of him. It was a giant stadium in which hundreds of students were cheering on to the fighters who were fighting a boxing match in a ring. Some kids were supporting one of the fighters by telling him to get the other one, while the other part also gave out their everything to cheer the guys, telling him that he can absolutely beat the other guy. And the guy finally gave a roundhouse kick to the second guy's head, knocking him out. Shocked by all of this, Gilsoo could not understand that what he was looking at and what was all of this. Jin, giving him a small smile, said that he must be really confused as to what all of this was since no one had anything like this in other schools. This was their school's fighting arena, and it was the only one thing, the highest honor that was permitted to them, and to only them only. Gilsoo had never come across anything like a fighting arena before, and it just looked flabbergastedly at it. Just as Gilsoo and Jin were looking at the match, another guy standing from the top of the balcony called out to him. It is a guy with a long hair, and he was Jang. He was the 6th Gates High School president. Jin, with a bright smile, told this guy that the one behind him was Gilsoo, and he had transferred to the school just this day. Gilsoo saw that how big and muscular the chief was and wondered whether he was even a school student. Getting ready into the ring. The orange-hair bleached guy called out to Jin into the ring, saying that he was going to take revenge for making fun of his eyebrows. Rolling up his sleeves, Jin said to just wait and watch as he was going to take care of him in the ring. Gilsoo was surprised to find a familiar face in the group of the crowd. Putting an arm on his shoulder, the president welcomed him to the school. He then introduced himself as the student council president of the 6 Gates High School. Gilsoo was absolutely shocked at just how gigantic this guy was. The soft voice he told to Gilsoo that he was happy to welcome him to the school and he hoped that he had a good time over here. But Gilsoo was absolutely not able to get over the fact that just how big this guy was and just kept staring at his head. Just then he looked around and saw that a bunch of guys were cheering on to a new group of students that were fighting in the ring. It was Jin and the bleached hair guy. Both of them were punching each other out till all of them were knocked out. Gilsoo could not understand that why were both of them fighting. They did not had to fight. After all, they were friends. With a loud scream, the president exclaimed at how good the new fresh air students were and how good the new muscle was. Not being able to understand anything, he just stared blankly at the club president as if he was asking what the hell was all of this. Similarly, as if the president understood what Gilsoo was trying to ask, he turned around to tell him that this was the actual true face of their school. He said that Gilsoo might have noticed by now that they had no bullies outside of this ring in the school or anywhere within the campus. However, it did not mean that they were any less on the amount of violence. It was just concentrated to this one arena and never leaves it. Sparks of realization went across Gilsoo's eyes as he slowly understood what all of this was. With a big, angry smile, the president said that Gilsoo might have gone through a lot of stress throughout the entire day, and this was the perfect place to lay it all out. After all, this was the place where every single one was equal in the face of violence. Nobody was greater or lesser. This is what it meant by the 6 Gates fighting arena. This new concept of everybody being equal in the face of violence was so intriguing that Gilsoo's face completely lit up. The president, now leaning close to Gilsoo, said that he did not like explaining stuff, so he was going to keep it concise, and told him to listen carefully. Rule number 1. Entry was allowed to only the students of the 6 Gates High School. And if anybody graduated or dropped out or was expelled, their entry was denied. Rule number 2. Fight will be one-on-one without any kind of weapons bare-handed. A third person is never allowed into the match ever. Rule number 3. The Student Guidance Council will act as a referee for the fight, and they are the ones to decide to end any fight at any time. And just as the president was explaining all of this to him, some guy walked up to him, calling out to him. It was the same guy whose shirt was ruined before because of the juice, which Gilsoo accidentally spilled on him. He asked, to the big smile, that where he had been up till now. The guy then invited him to the ring to have a fight to make up for the cleaning fee, as it would be much better than any money that he could receive. The president was impressed at the fact that he had already gotten an opponent on the first day. Pushing him forward, he told that he will learn as he will go. But Gilsoo screamed that how was he going to fight in any way? And the fourth and final rule, any kind of violence is banned outside of the fighting arena. Any kind of negative feelings that somebody harbors towards someone will be resolved inside the arena. And this is the most important rule. And he did not need to be scared. He should just go and have fun. Getting into the ring. He thought to himself that how could he ever enjoy a fight after all, when his entire daily routine was to get beat up by others. Plus the fact that no way in hell he could ever stand his ground in front of someone as muscular and strong as him. And in the 3 years that he had been bullied, the only thing that screamed in his mind was that he needed to get the hell out of here or he was going to completely get crushed. But the crowd was completely indifferent to Gil-soo's personal views as they kept on shouting and cheering on both of them to fight with each other. A person who was looking at Gil-soo said that he was really lucky that he had to be picked by Kang on his first day. The other guy, looking a little bit confused, asked that who was this person? Was he someone famous because he was the first year at the school? Showing a more serious tone, that guy said that Kang was the little brother of that guy, and he had come to this year to study and continue his schooling. Now, in the middle of the match, Kang taunted Gil-soo. That was he not going to come because he was going to give him a handicap because it was his first time fighting. But over on the other side of the arena, Gil-soo's body was completely shaking and was not obeying him. He was stuck in his place and wondered why the hell did he had to fight someone on the first day of the school day. Getting impatient, Kang said that there was not all day to wait around, and if Gil-soo was not going to go on the offense, he was going to go, and jumped off the railing running towards him. Still stuck in the same place shivering, he was screaming at his body to move away, move out of his way, otherwise he was going to get crushed completely. But it did not matter after all. The pressure was too much for Gil-soo, and his body's primal instincts started to arise as his body started to reflux all of his food outwards. And the thing that he did literally shocked every single one in the stadium. All of the cheers had completely vanished when even the most farthest person got quiet after seeing what Gil-soo did. Gil-soo had completely formatted on Kang after being unable to withstand the pressure, dirting him and the entire arena with his vomit. Realizing what it was, Kang began to get completely disgusted and cursed Gil-soo for doing this. All the Gil-soo was trying to catch his breath, the audience erupted in laughter. After all, they had never seen someone use a vomit attack before to stop someone in their tracks and found it pretty amusing, whereas Kang shouted to the guys to get him a towel. Gil-soo caught into his lamenting moment once more. He who never had rebelled against anyone. How was he planning on hitting somebody? He could not do it after all. The next day, in the school, every single one was talking about it. One guy said that he felt really bad for missing it, and the other guy said that he should watch the videos that were shot. It was absolutely insane. They were laughing on how the transfer student vomited on the spot and was able to defer the attack. And all of the guys started laughing, but Gil-soo was silently hiding in the toilet, not being able to show his face to anyone. The thing that Gil-soo was feeling now was a mixed feeling of shame and fear. Shame of ruining his image in front of everyone, and fear that he was completely screwed now. He thought that he would finally get a rest after getting into a normal school, but what the hell is a fighting arena? He could not understand how could a school authority even allow something like this? And the worst thing, he felt that nobody hated him. It was just how the school operated. And he got reminded of the time the president told him to not get scared and have fun. Hiding his face, he said that he could not do anything like it. He could not even extend his arm, let alone fight anybody. And something like the last day was going to happen again today. Just as before, his attitude of running away started to pop up in mind once again. Since there was no violence in the school ground except the school arena, he might be saved if he never went to the arena ever again. But on the other side of the school, the club president was doing push-ups with 2 people sitting on him. And he had done already 999 up till now. He was completely losing all stamina after doing for so much, and the last one was the hardest for him, but he still got together all of his willpower. And he was finally able to do the 1,000 push-ups. Just then, Gil-soo was passing in front of him and got completely shocked by seeing it. The president exclaimed, saying that he was finally able to do 1,000 push-ups with 2 people. Next time, he will try for 3 people. And Gil-soo wondered, that is he even a high schooler? No, is he even a human? Noticing Gil-soo standing there looking at him, the president asked that did he need something from him or did he want to talk? Gil-soo shrieked and said that he was just standing there. He had nothing to ask. But realizing that this was one of the few choices he could actually ask his doubt, he said that he had something to ask. The president said that he wanted to say something after showing such a display at the match last night. Few guys recognized him, calling him the Vomit Boy, saying that they liked his fight and wanted him to come today as well. Gathering all of his courage, he said that he did not want to go to the fight club anymore. The statement was so shocking that literally every single one got silent and stared at him. But hiding his face, the president asked why he wanted to leave the fight. After all, he was not injured or band-aided or in hurt. But coming out sincerely, Gil-soo said that he was not injured, but he did not have the confidence to fight a person. And he did not want to hit anyone, and he did not find it fun. And he did not even understand the whole fighting arena concept, so from now on, he cannot join the fight. But before he could even complete his statement, the president put his arm on Gil-soo's shoulder and said with angry smile that the thing he just said meant that he could beat Gil-soo as much as he wanted as whenever he wanted. Hearing this, he shrieked as to what did he meant by that. As Gil-soo was beginning to ask about what he meant, the club president slowly walked past, announcing everyone that since this day onwards, the first-year transfer student Gil-soo will not be protected by the fighting arena from now on. He quietly sat within his class without talking to anyone, once again isolated completely. As he was thinking to himself, what did he meant by protected by the fighting arena? Or can someone be protected by a arena? Just then some guys came into the class, exclaiming that this is where Gil-soo was studying. It was Kang and his friends along with a new guy with a red hair. He said he came to the class because he heard that Gil-soo was not going to participate in the fighting arena anymore. But just as he was calling him out, Kang slammed his head directly onto the table and told that he will make him understand what it truly means to not join the fighting arena in the school. And he was actually in the need for a slave to do his job, and Gil-soo seemed like the perfect guy to do it. As Gil-soo was beaten by Kang, everyone in the class completely ignored them and kept on talking with each other. The hitting sounds rang throughout the entire class, but every single one acted like nothing was happening at all. But over here, Kang was slamming Gil-soo's head repeatedly on his knee. Leaving him on the floor to catch his breath, all of them started to laugh, saying that it was a nice knee shot. The bleach hair guy said that he came to this school because he got beat up at his previous one. Kang smiled, saying that he knew what it exactly meant when he started beating Gil-soo. After all, Gil-soo seemed like a shuttle boy. And hearing that, he called him every time there is a break to do his job. Gil-soo understood instantly what the protection of the fighting arena was. It meant that if someone did not participate, then that person became the only student in the school for whom violence was allowed. And once again, the repeat of his previous school kept on going as he was beat up by Kang and his group of friends. His hell started once again. Gil-soo went to the staff room and asked that he should be allowed to drop out, but the teacher could not understand why, because it was only a week. Gil-soo answered that because he was preparing for his entrance examination and it was more important for him. The teacher, sounding dejected, said that if this is what he wanted, then he had no place to ask anything otherwise. He once again asked for forgiveness from his mom and dad, that he could not do anything and he was the worthless son. He contemplated now that his horrific school life had ended. He will live as a loser from the next day onwards, leeching off his parents. But just before he was leaving, the president stopped him and asked that, why did he not fight back? Why did he took all those hits? What the hell was his problem? Why did he act like a bitch all the time? At first, Gil-soo was surprised that someone was genuinely asking him without having any ulterior motives. But as he was surprised, he got sad instantly because he knew that there was no solution for this, and he just asked for forgiveness from the president, saying that he could not just do it. He was not like that. But, wanting to answer President seriously, he said that he had a lot of trauma from bullying and getting hit. He was severely bullied at his previous school, and seeing someone march towards him instantly freezes his body up. He did not have the soul or the strength to even continue fighting anymore. He was a loser, and he accepted it, and he just wanted it to stop. But before he could continue anymore, the president stopped him from speaking by putting his hand on his shoulder. He looked at him with angry eyes and told him that he was even way more pathetic than he had ever given him credit for. Gil-soo was surprised as he looked just stunned at what the president just told to him. He angrily said that, who put the requirement that a person needed to fight like a pro? Who put the requirement that you needed skills? You don't need shit like that in the fighting arena. Never back down. Always deal with the cards that fate has dealt you. If you don't have your teeth, use your gum. If you don't have your strength, use your willpower. That's what fighting was all about. Gil-soo was trying to ask that what the president was even trying to say. He grabbed his collar and started screaming at him that he called him pathetic because right now, he did not even have the guts to protect himself from the incoming attacks, let alone fight anyone. Gil-soo began tearing up that, why was this happening? He was just about to leave the school. Did he do something wrong? Was he going to get beat up once more? The president angrily shouted that, did he think that outside world is all sunshine and butterflies if he dropped and left the school? Because if he just dropped and left, he was going to remain a loser his entire life, unable to move forward even a little bit, and he will be beat up wherever he goes. After finally, the president left Gil-soo, he started to walk towards his home thinking that how could ever someone as strong as the president know what he feels? He had never been weak his entire life. He was done from all of this. Even if he was a loser, he will run away for his entire life. Just as he was walking, he heard someone called out to him. Upon looking up, he saw that they were Kang and the rest of his group. They were looking at him with an angry smile, saying that they heard that he will not come to the school starting from the next day. Gil-soo began to worry that what he was doing over here, he should be back at the school. Why was he blocking his road now? Kang said that he was sad that at how Gil-soo was planning on leaving the school without even telling them. Gil-soo was stunned in his place, not understanding that how did the news reach to them that fast. Walking towards him, Kang said that if Gil-soo left, then who was going to be sandbag? And ever since the bastard president created the fighting arena, he even never had any slave as well. Coming towards him, he asked if Gil-soo thought that everything will end if he just got up and left, not allowing him to go back home. He called him to follow him, the place he was going to take him. At the corner of some alleyway, the entire group kept on beating him up, laughing around about how he looks good only when he is under someone's feet, and that they cannot let the school's only sandbag leave. While taking all of the heads, Gil-soo started to fear for his life, thinking that he was going to really die that day. He asked for them to please stop. Smoking a cigarette, he came near Gil-soo saying that think what he wanted to think, but he was really lucky that he got Kang and no one else. But if he had come to the school when his brother was around, someone like him would really die. Looking at the phone, Kang asked Gil-soo if his home address was accurate. Giving a small laugh, he said that he had a really great intel network, and he can find if he was lying, but Gil-soo could not understand why his address was brought up. Looking at the place he lives, Kang exclaimed that he lived in a really nice place after all. Gil-soo got scared thinking that how the hell did he got intel about his house and photos of his house as well. He then said that the next time he is going to come over as well as he wanted him to do all his work since he never participated in the fighting arena. Gil-soo began to get up and scream that what was he planning on doing with his home address. But Kang was surprised that he was planning on fighting back a little bit. But Kang warned Gil-soo that if he was going to jump around anymore, he was going to beat him up personally, take his photo and share around the entire world. Gil-soo again started to revisiting his thoughts, wondering what did he do wrong for all of them to gang up on him like this. He thought he finally escaped this painful hell. He finally escaped all of these beatings. But his dreams were only temporary as he was dragged back into the hell once more forcibly, and once again got into the cycle of getting hit and being someone's slave. How did this happen? When did things started to go wrong? But just then the words of the president started to pop in his mind. Who said that he needed to fight like a pro? Who said that he needed to have superior skills to fight? He just needed to put his arm forward and punch. The world is never ever kind to you at all. Play with the cards you are dealt with. If you don't have your teeth, use your gums. If you don't have your strength, use your willpower. That's what fighting is all about. But right now he was so pathetic that he did not even want to protect himself. A rage of anger started to surge within Gil-soo's mind. That NF is enough. He was played around enough. Gaining all of his strength, he began to scream loudly as possible. But for Kang, this was nothing more than entertainment, like chickens screaming before getting slaughtered. He told both of his goons to hold him even tighter. And this was so funny and big and laughing. But at this point, Gil-soo had lost everything. To emotions, he was not thinking logically, and the only thing that was on his mind was anger and rage. Screaming all of his lungs out, he kicked the phone out of Kang's hand, leaving it flaring into the wind. Seeing his phone flying crack onto the ground, Kang shouted to his friends that they should have held him much tighter and he was still able to struggle now, and lamented that his phone was completely broken. The president words that if he did not have his teeth, he has to use his gums ringed again when he completely bit onto Kang's hand, which was holding him. Getting his hand bit, Kang began to scream in pain, shouting "What the hell? Shouting "What the hell?" Trying to pull his head back from his hand, he was screaming. What the hell was he doing? Why did he do this? Just as Kang was trying to free his hand, Gil-soo got his grip even tighter that he needed to use whatever strength he had on his hand and began to bleed Kang's hand. Not being able to hold him anymore, Kang kicked him to the ground, making him roll on it. Now, after being thrown on the ground, Gil-soo did his best to catch up his breath. whereas Kang was trying to check up his wounds to see how much was the damage and cursed Gilsoo for being such a crazy bastard, getting up with blood in his mouth. But smiling, Gilsoo said that he finally understood what others feel. Didn't he? It really hurts. And getting up on his legs, he promised to Kang that if he was going to die there, he was going to bring him together with him to hell. Caressing his hands, Kang got impressed at how brave Gilsoo looked and commented that even a rat can bite back if put his back to a corner. And since he was ready to fight, he should be able to take on anybody, any way he liked. Didn't he? Saying that Kang told both of his goons to go and attack Gilsoo? But he did not move. Rather, he swung his fist through the air, releasing a bunch of sand that he had picked up earlier, throwing it into both of them eyes, stopping them in the tracks. Both of them screamed, "What the fuck was that?" Then he got reminded of the second point that the president told him that, when it comes to raw fighting, nobody needs any kind of skills. He had to use every single thing that he possibly can. Be as unfair as possible. He doesn't need to look cool while fighting. He just needs to win. He just needs enough time to run away. But Kang, on the other hand, was surprised that he was able to grab the sand and wondered if he grabbed it when he was thrown down, being able to think that far ahead. While the rest of them were distracted trying to clean their eyes, Gilsoo began to run for his safety. Kang shouted out to the rest of his goons to catch him as fast as possible. Gilsoo thought to himself that he might be weak, but he was not crazy enough to overestimate himself and fight four of these guys in an alleyway with so much disadvantage. He started running towards the arena where they were stuck in another one of the fights. Just as Gilsoo entered the room, the council president noticed him and turned around to see who it was. Gilsoo class in front of the entire school that he will join, he will do it, completely silencing every single one in the room. Although the president was silent for a little while, the rest of the school burst out in tears as if welcoming the underdog. Gilsoo went and exclaimed in front of everyone that he will fight in the arena. He will teach those bastards. In just after him, Kang and the rest of his goon group joined as well to see what he was up to. But the president's silence broke into a smile as he said that he was free to join, and commented at how Gilsoo was more fun than he had expected. So now in the ring was Kang and Gilsoo, 1 versus 1, just like last time. Now everyone's starting to cheer him on. But in the fighting arena, even though everybody was cheering on, one guy was extremely angry that he did not get the chance to fight Gilsoo. It was one of the right hands of Kang Young-ho. He wanted to be the one who would fight and beat up Gilsoo, that loser. And he was angry at the rules of the arena, stopping him from doing so. The second guy then told Young-ho to stay quiet, as his voice were being heard by other guys, and he could welcome unexpected trouble upon them, their group. As he said that, he looked down, pointing towards the president who was overseeing this match and quietly observing everything around him, silently cursing. He is told to himself that he needs to be careful, of course, otherwise they will be in trouble. But in the ring, the match went just as it was expected. Kang beating the shit out of Gilsoo. All the Gilsoo tried to fight back, but he was nowhere near as capable enough as someone as Kang, who kept on beating his ass and injuring him. Kang went again on the offensive by hitting a left-hand hook at Gilsoo's face, throwing him back down on the floor. Now, charging up his right fist, he said that Gilsoo must be dreaming if he thought that he could do anything, if he fought Kang one-on-one, saying that Kang swung his punch at Gilsoo's solar plexus at the center of his stomach. The force of the punch was so great that Gilsoo got thrown back on the back of the arena, spitting out blood, lifting up his left leg for a kick. He said that he got great pleasure at making losers realize their position and making them understand how pathetic they are, saying that he hit Gilsoo right at his chin with his kick, making him spit blood right into the air. Pulling him up to his face, Kang taunted him, saying that he must be regretting inviting him to his match, didn't he? It would be much better if he just taken the beating quietly and stayed where he was. But Kang had not lost hope. In fact, his eyes were completely opposite. They were filled with fire and anger. Kang felt insulted by these eyes of his, and in anger ordered him to lower his eyes to not look at him like this. And he gave Gilsoo a big slap on his cheek to close his eyes. Continuing his lapse, he kept on cursing him that he was an idiot trying to crawl up without knowing his place. He was a loser, and he should just stay as one. And did he thought that he will gain some sort of fight and scenes will unfold as a webtoon? After his series of slap, he ended it by charging a roundhouse kick at his head. The kick caused Gilsoo to fly across the stadium onto the other side of the arena. At this point, other kids were starting to get worried about Gilsoo, wondering if he was okay or he was dead. One guy even said that he heard something break. Kang began to wonder if he went a little bit too far and hit him a little bit too hard. But contrary to what he and others believed, Gilsoo kept his place as he got up and stood right back up, showing that he was not ready to go down this easily. Now Kang was starting to get worried that how was he able to withstand that? After all, it should have been strong enough to knock anybody out. Walking towards Gilsoo with hands in his pockets casually, he told him to stop trying to act so tough because if he pushed him any more further, then he might accidentally kill him. But Gilsoo gave out a slight chuckle at the mentioning of killing him, which surprised him and the rest of the audience. And Kang asked what did he meant by it. Gilsoo answered that he did Kang think he was too high of himself to kill him with only this much. Getting up, he grabbed Kang by his waist and began running to the other side of the arena. Dragging him across the arena with body full of adrenaline, Gilsoo told to himself that this much amount of pain was nothing that he had to withstand over the years. After dragging him to the other side of the arena, he grabbed his body from the lower half and slammed him on the ground, making him scream of pain. The other guy started to recognize Gilsoo, saying that the vomit curve guy was not so useless after all, and he has some moves. His friend agreed to him, saying that it was nice to watch, especially the second rage movement. Kang, on the other hand, was completely caught off guard on the ground. He thought that hitting that much, Gilsoo would have given up for sure. And now he was at the disadvantageous position. While pinning him down, Gilsoo pulled up his punch, screaming into the air, trying to hit on Kang's face. But before Gilsoo could even do anything, Kang used his faster reflexes to hit another punch to Gilsoo. Giving a sly smile, Kang said that he was going to fall asleep if Gilsoo kept on coming at him with such slow punches. Now, what a disadvantageous situation! The words of the council president started to ring into his head again. Use the cards you have been dealt with. If you don't have your teeth, use your gums. If you don't have your strength, use your willpower. Seeing Gilsoo prepare for something, Kang got a little bit nervous, wondering what the heck was going to happen now as a giant shadow started to emerge on his face. Gilsoo used his head as a weight and slammed it onto Kang's head, giving him the strongest headbutt he could ever do.